Good afternoon, everybody. We Paddy from across the Shuck, and this is going to be an open tag, like you've seen. There's going to be not a well, it is going to be a kind of a rant at the beginning of it, and then we're going to discuss these knives here. And this is knife pairings that we all like to do is pair knives up. And what I was like, I'm a freak. I love color coordinating knives when I'm doing my carry with flashlights, with knives, with with a pry bar, with anything at all. I love to coordinate it, and I love to, make the slip match. Crazy. But that's me. And I got this out today. I was coming down to get my EDC, and I got these two knives out, and I thought, God, there's a great idea. I'd love to see what other people would like to match up as pairings. Now, these round here are not ones that I do all the time. They're just a mixture of knives in a colours that keep them together, that I would typically do. Sometimes my Facebook isn't actually my carry. There we go. Sometimes I tell lies. Sometimes I just do them because they're nice pictures. But this is the sort of things that I would gravitate to carry. And there's a couple of new ones here, and they're blended in with some of my older knives as carries. So I thought, a nice open tag. Let's see a few of the things that you would pair together. Not that you necessarily do it, but if you were to pair them, they don't have to colour coordinate. I just like that. And I know there's more of you out there like me. But let's see some of your pairings. And then the one that you're going to leave in the centre covered up is the one that you actually... This pairing is what I probably carry more than any other knives that I've got at the moment. And one of the knives, I've only had it, I don't know, a month, maybe 6 weeks, but it's getting more pocket time than any other at the minute because this pairing suits my life. So we'll get to that at the last, and I'll just go around a few of them and it's just to show knives off. Let's be honest, it is. I love showing my knives off. But firstly, I'd like to just bring up a topic that really gets me in a rant mood, but I'm going to try not to, because the person who I'm going to talk about can handle himself. He's not worried. He's been around long enough. But the fact that this still goes on, flipping annoys the head. It absolutely gets right up my goat, because I've had these problems myself. And I've had problems where these keyboard warriors go after my subs, which was pathetic. But it happens, and it's still happening. There's young... oh, for goodness sake. You see, I get all uptight, and then I can't remember. William's Knife Life. William can handle himself, and he responded to it perfectly. But I don't think he went far enough. Somebody private messaged him and threatened him with all sorts for one of his comic videos of all stupid things to go mad over. But that's, we can all disagree, and we can say things, in a comment. That's fine. If I don't like you or the comment gets rude, I just block you. But to private message somebody and then threaten them because they dared to make fun of his precious knife, or what he perceived was making fun of his knife. It was just making fun, making comedy. Nothing to do with a knife, nothing to do with a knife person, nothing at all. He was just having a jag. And that's just ridiculous. And I would like us to speak up, because, to be honest, and I'm going to speak to William sort of on the video now, I would tell the person who done it, because I'll unsub from him. I don't care who he is. I'll unsub from him. Absolutely, because there's never a need to do that in a hobby. Never. Never, 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 never. And I'm sick of people getting away with it. Slicey made mistakes. Oh, he got put in a... But you can private message somebody and threaten them, and you get away with it. No, I believe he should be outed. And that's just me. I just think there's no need for it whatsoever. You can disagree with somebody in an argumentative manner even. I enjoy a good argument. But there's no need for threats. Absolutely not. So I applaud William for his restraint, because I wouldn't have been restrained. And I can tell you, well, most of you know that anyway. I'll just say it as it is. And I don't care who it'll be. I don't care who it would be. I just would unsub him, because I don't have to put up with that nonsense. And I don't want somebody who'll do that on my channel anyway. So there you go. That's my rant over. So, William, I've got your back. I know you don't need anybody at your back, and I'm a couple of thousand miles away probably. But I think you handle it like a gentleman, and I would just let him just go now, because you don't need that man in your life. You don't need him in your life. Or woman. So, let's get back. Sorry, it really grates me when this happens in the community. No need for it whatsoever. Disagree, but don't be rude or bloody offer violence. Right, okay, right. I'm going to start with one that's quite new to me because this is only a new knife to my collection. And I wanted to pair it with something that I wouldn't have any fear of using, but I'd want that as my special carry because I just love this knife. Beautiful. This is Ashley Harrison in abalone, and this is a Cherbakov Stritch, which is absolutely, this to me is on par with a Chris Reeves. It's on washers. It's not a drop shutty one even. You have to actually touch it. Oh, mine isn't because I like it nice and stable, but it is so smooth. It is beautiful. The blade, this beautiful blade is so smooth and slips through anything. Absolutely. It's thin enough behind the edge. A really beautiful knife. And I'm going to do a full review on this soon. It is stunning. The Cherbakov. So I've mixed that with my Ashley Harrison because I'd use this, not a problem. Absolutely not a problem. But I would have this as my nice little looky piece, show off piece, take out of the sheeple about. So I've only got a couple of locking knives because most of my knives, as you all know, are slip joints. But I wanted to put a few in just to do it. And I'll go to the other locking one that I've got here. Cheapest knife, about £8 I paid for this. This is the Ganzo. What's the number on this one? I don't know why I don't remember it. F759M in 440C is just an absolute star of my collection. I've had it from the very beginning and it's still never lost its usefulness. I don't know how many I've had. I've had so many. If I'd only had one, it would be nubbed up to about the top of this opening hole. Just a cracking knife that I grab for if I got any dirty work to do, nasty little work. This one is just an absolute beaut, a beauty. And if you haven't got one, you can still get them for $8 to $10 on AliExpress. Fantastic. And I paired it with one of my most expensive knives. But this is another most expensive knife, like this one up here, that I'm quite happy to use. Quite happy to use. But if it's mucky dirty work, you betcha, I'm getting that out to do it. This is a slip joint, UK legal, but in 20 CV, so it's miles away from that. Miles. This is about 300. That's about £8 to £10. And yeah, what a carry. What a great carry. I just love them two together because that's how my channel rolls. Anything from, single figures up to 300 at the minute. That's the sort of the max I have. I love having both. I love having both. Here's another two, which is pairing up one of my newer ones with one of my old faithful. This is my first GEC. I cleaned it all up. It's actually starting. I was noticing the other day. I put it in the video yesterday. It's starting to get all marked again, but I love this. It's a work knife. It's a GEC. Beautiful knife. And I've paired it with this knife. And this is the Jack Wolf knives. And this is the Midnight Jack. For a working blade, an absolute, these are both what I would call working knives. I have no fear in using this whatsoever. I have already classed this as my working Jack Wolf knife because I love the blade shape, that ram's foot or sheep's foot, whatever you want to call it, but it is a ram foot. You're entitled to be wrong. It's just a fantastic working blade. I just love it. Really do. And since I rounded these wee ends over, if you watch the initial video, it's just so comfortable in hand. I love it. Really do love this knife. But I mean, this is one of my most used knives in my collection. So, what else have I got? This is another GEC, which I love. And I love this as a show-off knife. It's got a crocodile crest on it. How lovely is that? Or sorry, it's an alligator. This is from the swamps. It's got two unusual blades. It's got that sort of California clip or Turkish clip, whichever you want to call it. And it's got a lamb's foot, which is so rare in a GEC knife or a lot of knives. A real good old English pattern. So this is a beautiful knife. But would I want to completely bash that up? No, so I always carry a knife. It's more expensive than it, but I suppose they're about the same price. This is the Ace Farley. What a fantastic knife, M390. Just a beautiful little work knife. It's small, just about can get it in my hands, but just about, as I keep saying, is perfect. On large hands, I can use this really in any way I want to use it. It's a lovely, lovely knife, and I can't recommend it high enough. The Ace Farley. Let's go to some, again, more. This is these are budget ones. This one's an old second-hand knife I got from Dan over at Bladebridge. This is a PAL company. You can see how well that blade has been used. It's like a little razor. It's that old carbon scene. This is PAL Cutlery Company, made in the USA. Absolutely fantastic little stockman. Lovely little blades, all like razors. Dan sharpened them all up. They're all like little razors, honestly. What a fantastic knife to use. And if you're going to have a day where you know you're going to use maybe a couple of blades worth. But I paired it with this, which is the Rough Rider Reserve Barlow. It's a classy little knife, but it's cheap enough that I don't care what I do with it. You know, if it gets marked, scuffed, scratched, I don't care. It's a fantastic knife. It's in D2, so this is going to be something, if I think I'm going to run out of blades here, I'll get this out and just use it and save one of them blades for a backup. But D2 will get me through most days. Get me through every blooming day, to be honest with you. So, but they're lovely. This is bone and this is micarta. Modern, really old. But they match together. They pair well. And that's another thing that I like to match, that I've got both. I've got a nice showy knife. Because you're a knife person, people expect to see something knife. Here's two of my, this is one of my favourite knives of all time. And it just happens to go with the red in this Jack Wolf knives. This is the GEC Unexcelled. And I know I'm showing quite a lot of GEC, but that's what I've got in my collection. These are what I use. These are this one is a Stockman. But this Stockman is just beyond anything else that I've got. It's fantastic. I'm going to show you the blades all out here. Look at this. This is fantastic, Stockman. You've got a big punch. And let me tell you, that's a sharpened edge on that. It's absolutely fantastic for boring through wood. It's amazing how it goes through wood. Beautiful, lovely fat clip point. That only GEC can do that. It's just beautiful. Absolutely long pull. And then we have our sheepsfoot at this end, which is a good size. I mean, that's as big as most, sheepfoot blades on any knife. Just a beautiful, real good work knife. I've no fear in using it. If it's dirty work, am I going to take this lovely, beautiful knife and bone out? No, I'll pick something rough and ready, like the PAL. Do you know what I mean? It just stands as it. But it's lovely to have in my pocket. And here's the showy knife for the pocket, is this dog leg. I am totally in love with this. I thought the new knife, I haven't got the... Oh, you have got it. This is the new Lanny's clip I've got out here. And I couldn't decide which one I liked the best. This is fantastic. I wanted this more than anything else. But you want to know something? I'm going back to this. This is my favourite. Because it's just such a good cutter. It's absolutely fabulous. Lovely spear point. It's a fat spear. Hollow ground, slices like an absolute demon. So I love this knife. This is my favourite Jack Wolf at the moment. And it's going to go with one of my favourite GECs. What a classy carry. Just brilliant. I'll use this before I'd use this for dirty work. Because of the price. And it's dead simple. It's the price. And the last, but not least, before we get on to the other ones, is the new Lanny's clip. And I paired this because this is a big working knife if you're going to use it. So if I'm going out into the woods for a walk, this is a great knife to take and use if you want. But I'm going to pair it with this one. This is one that my chum made up for me. It's got the corkscrew with a little glasses screw, which, I could need. But it's got a lovely pen blade. It has pen blade, that's the main spear point. A lovely pen blade. And the thing that this has, which really just gets me, is it has a saw. A full-size 91mm saw. Absolutely fantastic for getting out in the wood. If you want to take a cutting of a bit of wood to whittle with, off a dead bit of wood on the ground, perfect. There we go. That is a country walk knife. And if I did need something that was going to do a bit of heavier work, I'd have that in my pocket as a backup. So, I love all them. Have I used them all together like that? Well, these two I have. And these two I have. And the two that's underneath there, I have used regularly, but these other ones I can see being part of going forward in my channel. It changes all the time, and I could put another 20 dozen, copies to 20 dozen. I could put another 20 at least substitutes for any of these. So this is, just a make believe, but I'd love to see some that you actually do use, especially this middle one, because this is what the video is all about. This is genuinely, probably at the moment, two knives that I use more than any in my collection, full stop. And the first one, would you believe, it's a sack. Now this is, I know I've got a sack down here, I've got a sack up here. I know I've got them down there, but this is in my Carta. My friend, the same friend who'd done that, made this for me. On the back of here, you have a Phillips head, and this side is for torques. If you need to get a bit of torques, this is great for that, because you got the two sides of the handles you can grip and torques a good tight screw out. On the other side, you have an inline Phillips, which is what you're going to use most of. Very rarely am I going to get a screw that I can't get out with this, but I don't want to torque this if it gets really tight. I'd rather change over and do this, but I just think this is invaluable, because especially over here in the UK, most of our screws are Phillips now. We very rarely get flatheads. And the other thing that is invaluable to me is this magnifying glass. I've got glasses, and half the times I'll run out and forget my reading glasses, and if I'm out somewhere, I'm trying to struggle with my driving glasses. But this is a fantastic magnifying glass. You'll not even see it there, but it's a fantastic magnifying glass. I love it, and what a great thing to put in with a knife. I also get the spear blade, and I also get the wee pen blade. So an absolute super. I have a toothpick. I have the toothpick. Have I got the toothpick, or have I got the? Yeah, I've got the toothpick here. And on the other side, the same friend who made it just shared one of these with me, which is a ferro rod. And I was going to put it in one of these, but this is the knife I carry most. This is the Victoria, or no, yeah, the Victorinox I carry the most. So I thought, put it in here, because if you haven't got it when you need it, it's not much point being in my forest walk. This is in my pocket nearly every day. If I've jeans on, this is in my pocket. I love this little knife. And my Carta makes it feel so rich, but it has useful blade sets that I like to have. So that is the working part of it. But it's two working knives. And this is the budget knife. Now, I'm saying budget. It's 50 quid I got this for. It was a prototype that Ashley Harrison was making. I managed to be on that day when he put two of these up. I got one of them. What an absolute gem of a knife. It has that easy open notch, which I love. Nice high ricasso, no fear. I worked the life out of this thing. It is just absolutely gorgeous. I love it. It's got a hollowish grind. Well, maybe wouldn't be that much of a hollow, to be honest, but let's just check that while I'm here. Has it got a hollow grind? Do you know, it's got a bloody bigger hollow grind than I thought. Right, let me see if I can get this up. There you go. I knew it was thin behind the edge. Look at that. I just want you to see. Let me see. Oh, this is so hard to get you to see it. There is quite a decent hollow grind in that blade. So there you go. I thought it was sharp. Beautiful, beautiful knife. Love it. Really, really enjoy it. And this can do anything. This really can. This is an 01 tool steel, and this is just a Victorinox. But them two would be the pairing at this moment in time that I'm carrying the most, because they're easy pocketable. I can put them in the same pocket. This is dangling. That can drop on the bottom. I don't need to put it in a slip. It's a working knife. So I can have the both knives, or I can separate that and put it over my left pocket and just drop that in the front. But just a perfect carry for me. For most of my tasks are not heavy or hard. These two cover everything. And it gives me a bit of a tool set as well, which I'm now enjoying more with the sack knives. And I'm using them. And the more you carry, the more you use with anything. But boy, of all my Ashley Harrisons, this is definitely the one. I can't get this out of my pocket most days. It just automatically jumps in there and wants to be part of everything. I've been eating my meals with it. I'm cutting up dog food with it. I'm doing anything with that knife. It's just beautiful. So there you go. That's went on for about 20 minutes. I hope you get the theme of it. Let's show some of the pairings that you would like. You maybe never carry them again, but just that you would match up for that colour coordination type thing, or either or, pretty knife, working knife. You pick whatever you want to do, but at the end of it, show us the two knives that you genuinely do put together and use as a pairing. There you go. Paddy's away for a wee cup of tea. Good old William. Let's have us back. No more of this blooming nonsense. Take care now. All the best. Paddy's gone. Bye now.